My 1 foot jumpers, if you're looking to increase your max approach vertical off 1 foot, stay tuned because this is the masterclass that you need condensed into only the things that you need. So stay tuned, let's get into it. Real quick guys, subscribe, click that subscribe button if you guys want to see more vertical jump content like this. Now let's get into it. The first thing to know about 1 foot jumping is whether you're a power jumper or you're a speed jumper. And that's gonna determine which techniques are important for you and just understanding how you produce force so that you know what to work on. For instance, if you're a power jumper, you're gonna see a lot of toe drag to slow you down so that there's more angle here, more time spent on the ground. It's gonna be more muscle and power-based type of jumper. That's what I am. As opposed to a speed jumper that is a little bit more straight up and just pops on and off the ground very fast and uses a lot of their speed from their approach, and it kind of looks like they're just running on air. People that produce force very, very quickly and store a lot of energy in their tendons. So to know whether you're a power jumper or a speed jumper is gonna be important. Now let's focus on your center of mass. Where's your center of mass placed on a 1 foot vertical jump? And it's gonna be similar to our 2 foot vertical jump. If you didn't check that video out, that was posted before. Our center of mass, pretend this is our center of mass, it should be back, and our brakes, or our 1 foot, the foot that we're jumping off of, in my case it's my left foot, should be out in front because we're taking this horizontal energy and we need to counteract that with a brake to send us vertical, right? So if our brake is under us, which is a common mistake that athletes make, is they jump right here with no brake and then they end up drifting and jumping forward. But we're not trying to jump forward, we're trying to jump up, right? So we have to make sure that we're leaned back. Our brakes are out in front. And we make sure we jump vertical, punch through with the knee and follow through. So keep the center of mass back. We should be at this angle, drawing the line straight from our ankle, through the knee, through the hip, through the shoulder, through the head. Head looking up where we want to jump. And that's how to maintain our center of mass being back and our brakes out in front. So the focus of this technique is to maintain our hip level. What we don't want to see is high hips, and then when we go into our jump, we have this big dip down, because if we dip down, now we have to counteract all of that force into our leg just to go up. So instead of going down to go up, let's try to maintain a nice stealthy, crouched, tiger, stealthy approach. Hips maintain as we get into it so that we don't have this dip down to go up, and we just have a very smooth acceleration upwards. So it'll look like this. We're slightly crouched, not perfectly tall, slightly crouched, maintaining that same hip level throughout the whole entire jump. If I had a marker here, it would draw a somewhat straight line all the way across, and you wouldn't see this dip down to go up. And that's the maintaining hip level technique. This technique focuses on how we accelerate and handle acceleration through our approach. The benefit of a max approach vertical is that we get to come in with an approach with some speed and use that speed in order to transfer it in the vertical direction from the horizontal direction. But if we're not doing it efficiently, then what that's going to lead to is us blowing through our takeoff and actually making it worse than a standing vertical. So we want to make sure that we have a slow and smooth, gradual, but accelerating acceleration into our jump, which means if we're a car, we're accelerating from 0 miles an hour to 5 to 10 and finishing 15. We should have a gradual increase as we continue through our approach, and our fastest point should be that last step. We want to accelerate into the jump. Most people decelerate into the jump, which is no good. So watch, follow me. We have our approach and we're starting. And what most people do is they go way too fast. They go way too fast and then have to slow down and brake into their approach, and now they're decelerating into a jump. So this would be a bad rep, where we're going way too fast and then we have to kind of slow down. Started too fast. It's not about the speed, it's about the acceleration. So I don't want you to be 50 miles an hour the whole way because there's no acceleration. We're just staying at the same speed. I want it to be increasing even if it's at a slower speed. So it could be much slower. It could be 0, 5, 10, and 15. And that's how we want a smooth acceleration into our max approach vertical jump off 1 foot. This is probably my favorite 1 foot technique, and the technique that I see athletes make a mistake on most often, and it is leaking energy from the knee. If you're a left foot jumper like I am for my 1 foot jumps, on that last step, this is the knee angle that I'm at. Most people, we want to think of it as somebody's hand is right here and that we can't allow our knee to hit. So we want to be able to maintain that stiffness and produce the force. But what most people do is they leak energy, meaning that knee pokes forward, and then that ends up shifting their takeoff point and taking off at that angle. But that's not where we want to take off. We want to go straight up. We want our vertical to be as straight up as possible. There's always going to be some drift. So on that last step, tense the quad, pre-fire your muscles, expect for that to be stiff. You have to put the foot into the ground, squash the bug, while maintaining your proper positioning that we spoke about earlier, and lock it there. If you've seen the vertical jump, it's like this leg gets stuck in this position with advanced 1 foot jumpers, as opposed to people that are new, you see this leak forward. You can think of it as the angle of our shin is going to dominate and predict where we're going to jump. So if our shin is vertical, we'll jump vertical. If our knee leaks forward, now look where we're jumping, forward, which we don't want. So maintain that very stiff knee angle, that stiff leg, and make sure that we're not leaking energy forward with the knee. Now, in order to practice this, you might have to shorten your approach, come in with less speed, so that you can actually get the feel for it. You might be going too fast for your own good right now. Start small. Sometimes you have to go down to go up. Pattern that in, and then over time, you'll be able to take that in with a stronger approach, a faster approach, a more approach with more acceleration. So that is how we're not leaking energy, and a major key into vertical jumping high off 1 foot. All right, let's talk about arm swing. On our 1 foot approach vertical, most people are going to benefit from both engines, both arms going back and coming forward. A lot of people naturally want to do the Mario or like the layup, where it's like a natural running motion where they want to jump and one arm goes back like they're taking a layup or a dunk or whatnot. But if we're purely just going for how high we can touch off 1 foot, we should throw both arms back and arms forward and get used to that pattern. Jumping with 1 foot, jumping with both arms up. And that's how I would practice it. I would practice this pattern. Arms in front, throwing it back, and then on that step, you're bringing it forward and timing it up with the knee. So watch the timing with the knee. Arms back, punch the knee. And as my arms are back, my knee is back, chest is forward in that position that we talked about earlier. And then punch. Everything works together. Arms are thrown back, punch. So, how to pattern this? Over and over again, do submaximal jumps. On your warm-up, I would just get a bunch of, they're kind of like skip reps. You're here, practice throwing the arms back, and make sure that when you throw the arms back, your chest isn't going forward, because that defeats the whole purpose of maintaining our center of mass backwards. So we need to just get used to throwing the arms back at any part of our approach, right? Be able to do anything there, and that's a timing thing. Just being able to be fluid enough, it doesn't matter really where I do it, and my arm swing times up so that it times up with the knee coming forward, with both arms and not one. Once you rebuild that pattern and that becomes the baseline in your subconscious, that's when you're going to start to see your vertical jump improve via the arm swing direction and using both arms. Another thing that most athletes get wrong about their arm swing on 1 foot vertical jumps is the direction in which they're producing the force. They're starting to understand, powerful arm swing, which I want you to focus on. But watch, if my powerful arm swing stops here, that's the direction it's sending me. Do we want to go that way or that way? We don't want to go that way. So what do we have to do? Just like a quarterback wouldn't throw a football and not follow through, we need to be able to follow through and arms up, because that's where we want to go. We don't want to knee punch and arm swing out that way, because that's sending us that way. We want up, see? Up, all the way up. And we should be in this position, sending that force vertical, just like a quarterback wants to follow through into the pocket, that ball is going to spiral properly and go further than if we cut it off. Same exact thing here. We don't want to cut off our arms. Follow through. Okay, so that is how we produce the maximal amount of force from our arm swing and put it in the right direction to send us vertical and not outward. A major issue I see with athletes trying to jump their highest off 1 foot is it's a visual perception thing. They don't know where to take off from, where their takeoff point should be. Maybe athletes that are used to jumping off 2 feet more, 2 feet, you can jump closer to your target because there's 2 breaks and you're gonna jump more vertically than horizontally. But on a 1 foot, there's always going to be more drift on a 1 foot than a 2 foot. And although we want to minimize the horizontal drift, it's always going to be there on a 1 foot. That's natural because there's only 1 break, so less breaks. So what does that mean? That means on a 2 foot, we can take off from a little bit earlier and peak at the Vertec there. But on a 1 foot, we might have to take off from here. And just because we take off from further back now doesn't mean that we reach for it, because that's what some athletes do. Right? They feel like they're taking off from so far away and then they end up reaching for it. But is this taller than this? No, this is as tall as we're ever going to be. So we still need to maintain that proper position, maintaining our center of mass back, our hip height low, and crouch like a stealthy tiger. Arms back, eyes looking where I want to go, drawing that straight line through my body. All the techniques that we've talked about, but just instead of here, where we're going to peak after the Vertec, you might have to take off from a half a step back. So my key and how I want you to mentally think about it is try your same exact approach, but just shift it a half foot at a time and see where your point is. It's going to be different. I can't tell you how many feet away because it's different depending on how much force you're able to bring in, how much speed and acceleration you're able to bring in. So it's a constantly moving thing. As you get more power, you're going to be able to come in with more speed. You're going to be able to brake harder. But understand the concept of it's a visual perception thing that this feels awkward to stay back. I want to reach for it or I want to get closer. But trust me when I say just try to take off from a little bit further back while still maintaining your position, and you'll probably grab an extra prong or two, okay? So that is a nice little visual perception tweak and a different way that we can think about our 1 foot vertical jump to change our takeoff point in order to peak at the optimal spot, whether it is the Vertec or the rim for a dunk. Guys, if you're looking for vertical jump coaching or a program, just click the links below in the description. They'll be linked there, and that is to all of my programs, have it in the app. But I put out videos like this often, everything explaining how to jump higher off 1 foot, 2 foot, standing, dunks. So if you're interested, like this, and click the subscribe button, and I'll see you in the next one.